Super Rugby Saturday games, folks. 2 wins for the Kiwi sides, the Blues and the Canes getting the jobs done, but neither match was as straightforward as maybe some of the predictions said things were going to go. But either way, we will go through some key events, some stats, upcoming fixtures, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how these games panned out. First one, Blues. Bonus point win. Can't complain, man. 35 points to 18, but honestly, if you watch this game, I think you'll be in agreement with me that it certainly wasn't like a dominant display by the Blues. I know they get the bonus point, 3 tries more than the opposition, but still, man, they had to do a lot of defending in this game, and a couple of the tries were kind of like against the run of play. So, yeah, the Drua started, pretty sharp early, but it's when they drop a ball and AJ Lamb just pounces on it that the Blues go 7-0 ahead. And then it's only 2 minutes later, Dolakoto goes over for the first try of the Drua. And interestingly, they kept trying these little dinking kicks through, to especially out on the right wing, to try and find some space. And it was certainly effective for the first try, man. It was Darren Alangi, I think, put the little kick through. And then, they ended up getting it to Dolakoto, of all people, the hooker. So 7 points apiece. Fiji, I keep calling them Fiji, the Drua stopped the first Blues maul, which was pretty interesting because if there's one thing you've noticed from the New Zealand teams playing Moana Pacifica, is they've often resorted to the maul to be a pretty dominant weapon, but the Fijian Drua stopped the first Blues maul, which meant that a lot of the Blues tries which did come from lineouts actually came from some kind of set play. The second try for the Blues is through Derry. That one's a line-out set play that I think the next phase ends up going to him on the blind side. So it's 14-7. The Drua do kick a penalty which punishes the Blues for mucking up a kick for touch where they kicked it dead. Kind of serves you right. So 14-10. But then, another one where the Blues go over from post line-out time, Marcel Renatar after Tom Robertson's gone close. So yeah, they're not opting to just kind of truck it up through the maul. They're trying things, which is pleasing that they're not too one-dimensional, the Blues. So, yeah, 21-10 at half-time's looking pretty solid, 50-50 possession. Blues have had 61% of the territory. The Drua have had more clean breaks, 2-1, but the Blues have had to make 72 tackles to 55 by half-time. It's the penalties conceded, which is maybe especially costing the Drua with more than double 8 to the Blues 3 by half-time. Second half, Drua kick another penalty, 21-13, but then Rico with an intercept makes the scoreline kind of flattering for the Blues, 28-13. And the Drua had a lot of pressure on the Blues, There was a try coming, and it did come through Ratsave on 58. That dude's got ridiculous power because they maul it, the maul goes close, and he beats like 2 tacklers to power over. So, like, the stereotype and the stats which show the Fijian guys can beat a tackle, honestly, it rings true with a guy like Ratsave. So 28-18, the Drua guys are like one score away from making it properly game on. But scrum penalty for the Blues, line out set play. This time it's AJ Lamb with the steps and he goes over. So yeah, 35-18. That's the final score. That's the bonus point win for the Blues. So they do enough. They do get a yellow card, the big Carl Tunukuafe. Too many offsides from the Blues. The Drua put the Blues under the pump towards the end, but man, do they hang on. And sure enough, they're able to win a penalty before full time. So yeah, like, I don't know if I'm being hard on my Blues. Like, still not that convincing. Like, 2 tries kind of against the run of play. I mean, sure, you've got to put the team under pressure to get those opportunities, but yeah, I think it flatters the Blues a little bit. The Drua, pretty good value. Run meters 413 to 312, so the Blues edge that. But possession 61-39 to the Drua. Territory 54-46 to the Drua. Honestly, they had all the bossing of that second half. Tackling percentage, though, for the Blues, quite pleasing. 93%, 172 tackles. That's a proper shift. The Drua at 86% had to make 91. So the Blues, not quite 100 more tackles, but yeah, a lot more tackles. Rico Ioane has 117 run meters, a clean break, and 4 defenders beaten. Not a bad shift. Ratsave, the winger, 60 run meters, a clean break, and 5 defenders beaten. Derry, top tackler with 19 from 21 for the Blues. So yeah, good enough, man. I'll take it, certainly. All the way to the bank, the Blues. They are away to the Force next, assuming that game goes ahead with the Force's COVID cases. And the Drua are home, actually home in Fiji, to the Highlanders, which could be an absolute cracker. The second game, Hurricanes comeback Kings, 17-0 down against the Reds. Reds only scored 17 points, which means they conceded a whopping 30 unanswered points in this game. The Reds will be gutted the way they just kind of switched off from about the 39th minute. They just weren't in that second half at all, and they just kept coughing up the ball. It was really frustrating, but if you're a Canes fan, boy, you'll be pleased that your team managed to kind of knuckle down and come back after that deficit. 17-0 is not a small margin to be coming down from, man. So, yeah, it was 3-0 early to the Reds. The Canes did opt for a 3 at one point. At first, they went for touch. They fluffed it. Later on, they went for 3, and they missed it. Balin Sullivan gets yellow carded for a tip tackle on Paisami. They don't concede any points, though, the Canes. So they managed to handle that yellow card pretty well. Tupou goes over for a try, but he's chalked off for a double movement. They do eventually get one through Stewart. That one, I think, was Paisami who got it to Tupou. Paisami with a nice dummy. Gets it to Tupou, gets it to Stewart. So 10-0 lead, looking pretty solid. And even more kind of solid when Rakete Stones gets yellow carded for a high tackle. I did think he was a wee bit lucky with that one. That one easily could have been red, more so than the Sullivan one, which was a pretty easy yellow, I thought. So, yeah, a wee bit lucky, but obviously we don't want to see reds if we don't need them. He gets yellowed, and the Reds opt for touch. They maul it, and McCright goes over. So it's good punishment for the Canes yellow from the Reds in that instance, where they couldn't punish the first yellow. They punished the second one. So 17-0. Happy days for the Reds, right? But no, the Canes maybe get one that's a little bit fortuitous on 35. Balin Sullivan gets his first of 2. They did drop the ball in the build-up, but the ref says it goes straight down, and I can live with it for sure. It definitely wasn't an obvious knock forward. If I was a Reds fan, I would maybe think it was a knock on. But sitting here as a Blues man, I can see that one as fine. So, not like kind of, you're so used to seeing guys get pinged for a deliberate knock on. None of that. The ref says it goes backwards. So it's 7 points to 17. That's game on. And then Connor Vest gets yellow carded for a high kind of seatbelt tackle on Julian Savia. The ref rules that his arm coming through hits the shoulder, then the head or the neck. So it's yellow rather than red for him. And I honestly feel like that's the turning point in this game. Like, sure enough, the Canes got back into it with the try just before, but from that yellow card, the Reds, I don't want to say they're hopeless, but man, do they just not have any momentum. No luck. They couldn't catch the bloody ball, man. Tyrell Lomax goes over after about 12 phases before halftime, so that 17-point lead is already whittled down to 3 by halftime. The Reds have had 57% possession, slightly less territory with 48%, but 3 clean breaks to 1. They should be ahead. 20 minutes the Canes have had guy in the bin to, by that point, it's like 4 for the Reds having their own guy in the bin. So, yeah, not ideal. And then the second half starts, man. Lomax 1 meter out. It's another one where maybe it's a little bit lucky because I don't think it's a try initially, but the TMO sees it grounding. So Lomax gets his second. 19 points to 17. Jordy Barrett kicks a couple of penalties to keep the scoreboard ticking over. It's 25-17. Solid lead. And then, eventually, Balin Sullivan gets one on 70 minutes. And that one, it's pretty much game over, man. The Reds did not look like coming back. They just kept knocking it on. Very frustrating. Like, if you're a Reds fan. I mean, as I said, credit to the Canes. 30 points unanswered is a heck of a shift. But the Reds at some points were just painful. Painful to watch. They weren't in that second half. Run meters 384 to 427, so the Reds get that. The Reds still got more possession, 56-44. Territories even. Turnovers conceded, 14-7. That's the Reds, 14. I think that's part of the losing of this game for them. Although the Canes lineout wasn't great with 7 from 13, so that's an area to work on. Penalties conceded is pretty even, 12-13. The Reds with one more. So, Yeah, man. Credit to the Canes. Geordie Barrett beats 4 defenders. Reed Princep 21 out of 22 tackles. Not a bad effort. McCright has 15 from 16 plus his try. Paisami has 72 run meters, a clean break, and a defender beaten. But ultimately, yeah, the Reds 17-0 up, 30 points to 17 down. Not a good look for them. They are home to the Chiefs next. The Hurricanes are away to the Brumbies, but yeah, certainly a couple of interesting games. It's after midnight, so I am going to go to bed. You guys let me know your thoughts. Do you think the Reds could have pushed on if they had managed to keep a bit of that momentum, or do you think the Canes were always going to be too good? Do you think the 35-18 scoreline flatters the Blues a wee bit, or am I underselling my side? You guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.